And the Emmy
The Emmy goes
And the Emmy goes to Stephen Young.
Sarah Sue. Succession.
Emmys are awarded to recognize the best television each year. But what makes a TV show the best? I honestly don't think you can measure that. Art is inherently subjective, and taste can't be measured as better or worse. So instead, I'm going to look at quality. What I mean by quality is whether a TV show is good at what it does. More specifically, why Our Flag Means Death is very good at being a character-driven comedic romance. What I mean when I say character-driven is that the most important thing is that the story serves the characters. Everything else is secondary. This is different from plot-driven stories, which prioritize the plot. You can have good and interesting character development in plot-driven stories, and you can have good and interesting plots in character-driven stories. The difference is what ultimately gets prioritized. For good character-driven stories, the characters and their development is the most important thing. Therefore, in order to be a good character-driven story, all of the story elements of Our Flag must serve the characters. So what does serve the characters mean for Our Flag? Fundamentally, it's a romance, so the main characters, Ed and Steed, need to get together. But that is a plot-driven answer. A character-driven answer requires them to get back together in a way that is consistent with their established personalities, emotions, and history. Season 2 starts from a point where there's been major damage to the relationship that can't be skipped over. The story can only move forward at the pace the characters can move forward. But Our Flag Season 2 only has 8 episodes to do this. So in order to be a good character-driven story, it needs to take the characters from where they are at the start, which is very far apart, to back together in 8 episodes, moving only at the pace the characters can move forward. And Our Flag does it. How? I'm going to start by focusing on the excellent writing. A quick recap of where the characters left off. Season 1 ended with Steed ditching Ed on the dock, Ed handling it poorly.
Let go. Make yourself.
And then Izzy, doing this.
I should have let the English kill you.
Steed, getting his shit together. And Ed, not getting his shit together. Ed believes he's unlovable.
I'm not a good person, Steve. That's why I don't have any friends.
He takes a risk and tells Steed how he feels.
What makes Ed happy is you.
And Steed totally bones it. That affirms Ed's belief that he's unlovable. So, ouch. Season 2 begins with Ed taking his pain out on the crew and trying to get them to kill him. So, how do you move him forward from there, moving through the emotional obstacle instead of skipping over it? You send him to the gravy basket.
Being trapped between life and death.
Yeah, that's it. That's the shit right there, bro. But purgatory, that's a shit way of saying it. It's gravy basket.
And you show him he's wrong.
I don't think anyone's waiting for me.
You nut. Why'd you have to go and get yourself killed?
Maybe you even do it with incredible cinematography. But now you have Ed, who's not dead, but also still very hurt, and Steed, who's all in, but having to face how much he hurt Ed. How do you move these two forward without skipping over those emotions? Well, you introduce some foils and make them have dinner. This gives them space to be angry and to apologize. This takes the edge off the hurt and shrinks the space between them ever so slightly. But now, the characters are in limbo. They are physically back on the ship together, but they've both changed. They can't go back to the relationship they had before. So how do you move them forward without skipping those emotional beats? First, you give them some space to find their new roles with the crew and let them puzzle through who they are to each other. But it's not simple. The dynamic between Blackbeard and the gentleman pirate that brought them together has been irreversibly damaged. Ed can't go back to being Blackbeard, and Steed has given up all his gentleman trappings. The relationship between them must respond to the ways they have both changed as individuals. And the challenge is to bring them together when they are moving apart. Ed is having doubts about being a pirate, and then a full-blown crisis about who he is if he's not Blackbeard.
I don't even know who I am. Well, I know I don't want to be a pirate.
And Steed is learning how to be a better captain and pirate, and finding a bit of fame. So, how do you bring them together when they are moving apart? You let them come together, and you let them move apart. The only way out is through. Ed has to go through his crisis, and Steed has to go through his crisis. You can't skip the middle, because the middle is what allows them to keep moving forward. By letting the characters' emotional beats and pacing move the story forward, the writing on Our Flag moves Ed and Steed from where they start, a very fractured relationship, to reconciling without skipping over what the characters need to get there. And it does it in only 8 episodes. And that's the first of many reasons why I think Our Flag is very good at being a character-driven comedic romance. Thank you for watching part 1. Stay earnest and stay silly.